We're talking Shonda Rhimes shuts down Jesse Williams haters, also Alton Sterling shooting, and a lot more on Black Hollywood Lives this week.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live this week.
We will not bow down.
We're going to start the show today real political. It's political time. We're going to take it back to the Panthers movie Freedom soundtrack right now. Y'all feeling us. I know y'all feeling us. We're going to let this beat kick in just for a second.
Exploitation. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand.
All right, that's the current mood we're in today. Welcome to Black Hollywood Lives this week. I'm your host, Dario Kristen, and joining me today is DJ Jessie J. And Courtney Stewart. We are so happy that she's back. She was gone last week.
I forgot, y'all.
And sorry for y'all who said that we did not acknowledge.
Dario don't appreciate you because you dark skinned. You know what I mean? He'll be missing you when you're gone.
I only missed apparently the light-skinned curlies who are gone, which is not true. But
that
thank
is
you
not
for
true. I have not been missed before.
But thank you for bringing that point out, because you love Courtney, and we are glad she's back. Rachel True is not here today, but she will be back as well next week. Freedom, y'all. Freedom is what we're talking about today, because we got a lot of topics. Not only are we talking about Shonda Rhimes and Jesse Williams haters, descendants of slaves and their owners meet after 181 years. FBI wants border control to check out social media. Virginia governor restores felons' rights to vote. We're going to be talking about that Alton Sterling situation, and swimmers Leah Neal and Simone Manuel make Olympic history. We're going to start off and just get right into it.
Get in it.
Boom. All right. Well, so we all talked about we were supposed to talk about Jesse Williams last week. Unfortunately,
It's because I wasn't here. They failed.
Got cut short because you know how Robert Richard just be talking. He
Y'all
just
saw that.
has that energy. You know, we love it.
I did miss him though.
And he missed you too.
That I wasn't here.
But he'll see you this weekend.
Yeah, you'll see him this weekend.
But no, so we talked about Jesse Williams actually on our other BHL show,
Yes.
Reality Check, and then also right before we just did a Conversations or Portraits, which we still wanted to show you guys over here,
Yes.
with Kim Whitley, so you guys can definitely check that out. We talked about the Jesse Williams speech a little more in detail. But, so obviously social media wise, the change.org has a petition to remove Jesse Williams based off the speech from Grey's Anatomy. Twitter went ham with it, and over 6,000, almost 7,000 some people have signed this petition, and Shonda shut it down with one tweet. She said, people, boo don't need a petition.
Boo. Don't
Hashtag Shondaland rules.
We're mad at her.
Why? Why would, first of all, why would we, what did he do? Did he shoot somebody while a child was in the back of a car?
No, he didn't.
No, but here's where some of the complaints have been, is that they're saying if a white person made the speech that he made, that people would, because he was talking about the issues that are happening. First of all, let's just talk about that's what he was everything he was referring to. But people of non-ethnicity backgrounds are saying that if a white person had said it, that it would have been something that was considered racist, and that it was a racist statement that he was making. And I completely disagree with that, but that is where people are misconstruing this.
If a white person had given Jesse Williams' speech, we'd all be like, well, praise the Lord, somebody is enlightened and really know what's going on in the world, okay? But if you're saying if a white person gave the speech that Jesse Williams gave, but in the context saying that about white people.
Yeah, it's in the context of white people. That's
a completely ludicrous argument.
I agree.
Because such situations don't exist for white people. So that made no sense whatsoever, and you're an idiot. All of you that signed that petition are idiots. I'm sorry. I don't like to call people out their name, but y'all dumb. That was dumb.
There's no.
I mean, he was only speaking about the facts of the truth. You know what I mean? And he threw in the fact of telling black folks to, step up. You know what I'm saying? He spread it out. You know, like, how you gonna even get mad at him about that speech?
He spread the love, y'all. He was telling everybody to take responsibility for what the hell is going on.
Because he understands both sides of it. He is a product of both sides of it. So it blows my mind that anyone could even take it to this level. It doesn't blow my mind, actually, to be quite honest.
I don't know if you were going to read this, but I just wanted to read this part too because I love this. This was a tweet after Jesse sent a tweet after Shonda sent her tweet about that, and he said, "Do not promote empty people and their tantrums. Pure click hate to gain followers."
Clickbait.
excuse me, pure clickbait to gain followers, attention, and money for themselves. Not you, never you. I appreciate
There you
that.
go.
And it's true. A lot of the times, these articles that you guys click, they just are trying to find the most scandalous something, or they're exploiting somebody just based off that. Okay, so in another news, I'm gonna mess this name up, y'all.
Good luck
In
with
South Carolina, there's this plantation, and Nkrumah Stewart, who is a slave descendant, sat for dinner with a Robert Adams, who his family owned the Stewart's family until they were emancipated in 1865, and basically their great grandmother Sarah then had a slave. She gave birth to a child, and now we have all these descendants. So 181 years later, they had met over Facebook and contacted each other, linked up with each other, and they said, we don't want to hold the past.
Yeah.
We don't want any negativity. We want to. You are related to me. I am related to you. Let's get to know who we are. Hi, my name is Mr. Stewart, and my name is Mr. Adams. Let's get to know each other. So they went to dinner. They had dinner on the plantation, and they tweeted this picture out.
I love it.
And, well, I'm glad you did, because some people on Twitter did not think that this was a good idea. Now,
It's your family.
at the end of the day, and if we're in 2016, we can't come to a conclusion of it wasn't like these people own slaves. They own a piece of property in the land, and they met. I don't know. There's just to me, I can't find the malice in this.
They said it in. If you look at the article, they talk about both sides of the family. Said this wasn't something meant to be to go backwards and talk about the struggle that has happened. What we want to do is move forward. We want to know who our family is. Even the white relatives were saying, we want to know you. We want to be a part of you. And
For generations.
For generations.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that?
And I feel like there's so much power. Like, for those of you who have never been like on plantation land, or a lot of people that like go to West Africa and go where the slaves were held on the beaches, like that is a surreal spiritual experience that I personally think in a lot of ways could heal a lot of things that if we get back to a place. So I know they're saying they don't want to go backwards or whatever, but there's power in the blood that was shed on that land.
Right.
So to me, it's just baffling that people have such little respect for what they're doing. And I get it on the outside. It's kind of like the white man still on the plantation that's been in his family for years. But he is not his grandfather or his great-grandfather and all of that. And if we're ever going to get to a place, like part of the problem is that black people were never restored to anything. They were never given their 40 acres and a mule. They were never allowed to maintain their businesses. And at a minimum, this is allowing recognition that you were family, you are blood, and there's power in that. And I just think it's sad that people came all negative about it and whatever.
I mean, you can't, it's just like you can't worry about anything. You can't please everybody. And at the end of the day, the family just wanted to get to know each other. And first of all, the things we've been talking about, we talked about it on Portraits with Kim Whitley today. People have to have conversations. That's the only way we can move forward. Without conversation, all this other stuff we're doing doesn't matter, because if you're not learning from what is being done and open up that elephant in the room to talk about it, we're never going to move forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're always going to have the same problems every time.
Yep.
So, sorry. I went on my little high horse for a second.
Well, that's all I got for y'all.
So that's the end of that.
All right, we're going to move on to something more positive. Yeah, Dario's on one today.
Something more positive.
More positive, or maybe not positive, but it is making the news, Courtney.
Oh, it's, I mean, I don't know. You can look at it however you want to look at it. It might be just Big Brother's taking over the world. So basically, this week a proposal was submitted to the Federal Registrar by Customs and Border Protection to have travelers submit their social media profiles details along with their visa waiver applications when they are entering the United States. So there's sort of been like discussion for a while now that like a lot of terrorist activity and shady things are happening over social media, and maybe that should be some of the criteria that is what Customs is actually looking at when people come into the country. And they're saying that the proposal would only affect those seeking visa waivers, which allow people from certain countries to remain in the United States for up to 90 days without applying for a visa. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's supposed to be for vetting purposes, and that is all. But some people are saying that's not America. That's just another way for the government to get involved in.
Well, the conspiracy theories.
Well,
exactly.
Once you let this happen, and of course it starts off innocent, and actually it sounds like, okay, this actually might be a good
maybe
idea.
It's not a bad idea.
You know what I mean? Because it ain't affecting me. It's going to affect these people who might be coming into the country to do something.
Well, that's why I thought it was positive.
But the thing is now you're creating the technology or the document that says we can do this for a certain type of person, for a certain sector of the world.
Certain countries, certain people.
Another person got shot. Now, well, you know what? It worked for our border controls.
So
you know
maybe
what?
we should do it over here.
Yes, all these black people being shot. You know what? We're gonna go into all the police officers' phones, and and then it's there. So now it's like, but now it's official and it's government. And then it comes into the homes, and that's where it's like, okay, that's where it gets scary because you see it here in America. It's a snowball effect, and so that's where hearing this makes me go to that conspiracy. You know me, I'll just automatically go there.
Right.
Go there. Because people make interesting decisions out of fear.
Well,
they aren't always good ones.
if it's going to protract.
Sorry, that's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Protect us.
Then that's one thing. But if it's just to have people's personal information
But what if that goes hand in hand? It's having people's personal information allegedly to protect us, but we have no evidence that it will actually protect us because we haven't done it yet. But the only way to find out if it'll protect us is maybe to do it. So then what do you do?
Right.
Do you open that door? Because that's Pandora's box.
Yeah, that is Pandora's box. Yeah, because a lot of other things could come along with that.
A lot of other things could come along with that. So anyway, it's out there, guys. It's not rule of law yet. They do say that it should be optional. But it's one of those things like if it's optional on the form and you don't fill it out, they gonna look at you sideways like why you ain't sharing what's
on your social media?
Right.
I'd be like nudes.
So that I don't want nobody to see me naked. So I mean, who knows? I don't know what they're gonna end up deciding, but it's out there, guys. So Big Brother is always watching. He or she. Yes. But in other news, this I think is a positive story, maybe, kind of, sort of. So
you didn't say that real positive though.
Well,
your voice got real high pitched.
There's again loopholes.
There's always holes in it, but basically the governor of Virginia, Mr. Terry McAuliffe, he signed an order that gives over 200,000 ex-offenders restoring their right to vote. Because for those of y'all who know, if you're a felon, you lose your right to vote. So he just basically signed this like massive order for 200,000 ex-offenders to get it. And since then, over 9,000 former felons have actually registered to vote in Virginia. He's basically being sued by the Republicans in his state, saying that he overreached his level of power because in Virginia they already had a process that you could go through to get your right to vote back, but it's literally on a one-to-one basis, and it was a substantial amount of paperwork. It was like a whole ordeal for them to get their right to vote back. And so the Republicans feel like he just did that because he's a Democrat and Hillary's running for president, and she needs a little help with the black folks in the state. And this is a way, because obviously, disproportionately, those offenders are black. Yeah. So this is sort of they think it's just a political play for him to like help Hillary look better in the state. And they're going after him for it, and they want to restore it. But he said if he loses in court, because it's going to the Supreme Court of Virginia I believe this month, if he loses in court, he will still sit down and sign all 200,000 petitions individually, one order at a time, to make sure those people have their right to vote back.
Here's my thing. I think it's something that needs to happen because we've talked about this on the show where they're trying to rehabilitate the prisoners when they leave prison and to get them back to a normal life. Giving them their right to vote is part of that. If they have shown that they, are a well-rounded citizen, they should have that right.
And that's the thing. These people, they're not on probation anymore. They're not on parole. Like they've paid their debt to society, and those are the groups of people that he gave this right back to. It wasn't still people in the middle. And there was apparently some little problems in the middle because bureaucracy has its problems, where some people fell through the cracks that maybe were still, I think, on probation or something, and they got through. But the people working in the system said they were able to rectify those problems without too much of an issue. So I don't know. There's lots of the guys that were given the right to vote back and registered were excited, and they said it makes us feel like we're a part of the community again and that we're allowed to be people.
Just the fact that someone took a stance to do something so against the grain that for years and years has been the norm. So, I mean, just that, a little bit gives me hope that people are starting to wake up and think, okay, maybe the system isn't 100% correct.
Right.
No.
And it's okay. That's fine. Everyone messes up. It's like if you're building a business, you're never going to get it perfect right away. But as you're going along, when you start seeing fuck-ups, you fucking fix it.
Yeah.
You don't fucking bury it under a goddamn rug.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in a coffin.
Right.
It's actually, the governor actually made an interesting comment when he said that the reason he part of why he went after it is because once he was in a building for the state or whatever, and he realized that, black people built this building, and then in 1902 we decided to enact this order to disenfranchise anyone committing a felony, fully aware that black people were way more likely to be convicted of a felony than anyone else. And so he felt like in a certain way he was sort of trying to right what the system had already done that was wrong. So I thought that was cool.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely cool. That is something that needs to change.
Y'all scared all them black folks gonna be able to vote? Is that what's really going on?
I would love to see a statistic maybe like 3 years from now that shows if how that kind of changed
This voting process. That and another
That's
thing,
what I
I know
would
it's
love
not
to
one
see.
of our topics, but I just want to quickly throw out there how Snoop's going to help Hillary.
I was
The
just
reason
gonna
I
say
wanted
that.
to bring that up is just because I think it's so funny to me, and we always see it with voting that they use celebrities for power. Right now is such an important time for that because Donald Trump is the celebrity in the race.
You're right.
So it's almost, and like the amount of coin he got, who he about to pay off and get to join his little situation. But I applaud Snoop Dogg for stepping up and into the world of voting and getting where you think that a large group of his followers wouldn't be prone to doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Spend that time at home smoking weed, being like, I'll get to the
like
vote.
that. Yeah.
So I appreciate that he doing it, and he got a new album coming out too. Shout out to you, Snoop.
Shout out to you,
All
Snoop.
right,
Snoop. All right, we're going to move on to our EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week. We're going to do it with... Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Spotlight of the week.
Well, I don't even know how to introduce this story because it's
Not
just,
as a hashtag.
Not as a hashtag, and it's once again tragic and affecting our community in so many ways, and we got to figure out what needs to be done to change this. But Alton Sterling obviously has been a focus of conversation worldwide the last couple of days since he was killed Tuesday of this week in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 37-year-old father of 5, known as like the community man, in the neighborhood, was selling CDs in front of a convenience store, and was bantering back and forth actually with the owner of the convenience store in a friendly, fun kind of a way. And next thing you know, cops are called allegedly saying accusations of him threatening people, showing a weapon and all these things. They said even when the police arrived that Alton had no idea what was really going on and was unaware of what was actually happening. Police, took him down. One police officer apparently says that Alton had a gun. Shots were fired, multiple shots. He died this week from multiple gunshot wounds to the chest and back area. And this is an uproar. This is something that people are just not taking this anymore. We're fresh off of obviously a lot of sensitivity with several of the killings that have happened over the last year. I found a really interesting statistic that they did a poll that 1 in 5 African Americans report unfair dealings with police in the last month, just the last month alone. There have been 2 videos that have resurfaced. The first video they were saying was one side angle and that it wasn't a lot of clarity in exactly what happened.
Why are we saying but? Like, that's just where I can't. It's like every time, well, there's only so many freaking excuses. Like, and not only that, but we're in 2016. It isn't like a he said, she said story to where, maybe something didn't happen. It's visually in front of you. It's visually in front. Oh, he was scared. He was fearful. Well, what about the guy who got shot?
Right.
Like, it's just crazy. It's the same conversation every week, and it blows my mind because we're having the same conversation with the same fucking people.
Same time.
So it's like, really, how does it grow? Because the people who need to hear the conversation don't want to hear the conversation. And this is the saddest thing, and I know I just kind of went into a rant right now.
It's okay.
But
it's that kind of a day.
it is, and it brought brought me to a thing, and this is so sad. I got my hair cut today, and I was talking to my barber about it. And I said, and this is so sad, but I feel like for that middle America group, that the groups of racist people, it's going to take that one white person to get shot. That then when they give that outpour of love and affection to this one person, it's going to be like they're going to realize, oh, wait, the rest of the world doesn't give that kind of affection. Well, yeah, because we've seen these fucking kind of slayings for fucking how long? Yep. And nobody wants to wake up. Nobody wants to take ownership. Nobody wants to say, you know what? Maybe let's not stand up for the police right now. Maybe something is wrong. Maybe we need to. This is a psychology problem. This is a problem that mentally is wrong with these people. That was anger in that man.
Pure anger.
We see it on camera. It's just, I just can't. And it just, that's what irritates me. And that's why it's hard to have this conversation without getting overly passionate, because it's like you deal with people and there's always a but. There's always a but, and I just can't with the but anymore.
Well, here's the thing. There's a second video that we're going to show. Bear with us, and it is graphic, but we have it's about 1 minute and 10 seconds, so please bear with us on it. But we want to play the video here of the second video that they say actually is going to help the case. They're hoping, because it's a little bit clarity in the footage. We'll play it now. This is tough to watch, and for the people who are just listening, please go to Black Hollywood Live and check out the video, or it's horrifying to watch. So that's the video
just
number
no
2.
Care.
Just no care.
Disgusting.
You just see how Alton is just handled by the police, and you even see the part where him basically screaming and for his life at that moment, and. This is tough, man. It's tough. They say that he is the 136th black person that's been killed this year from a police altercation alone. They're saying that this second video will help. There's about 238,000 people who are currently in Baton Rouge, and they said the tensions are just running really, really high there. I mean, there's been peaceful protesting, but there has been more protesting. People are calling for leaders to really come on board and take over this and make a story around this and fire the mayor and the police chief in the city. What do you saw the video? What do you guys think about that? I mean, like you said, Jesse, I just get kind of emotional watching it, because that's somebody's father, somebody's friend. They said
been doing the same thing for 6 years.
His son, who's 15, is wailing while he's watching. They're doing a press conference. He just lost his father over something to me that looks the most senseless out of all of it, because he wasn't even doing anything.
Yeah.
He wasn't even doing anything.
And it's like the repeat of something we've already seen multiple times, and it's more devastating to me because I'm like, we've seen it however many times we've seen it. The last 2 years, it seems like this
every
crazy
week we talk
burst
about
of seeing it.
Week.
But obviously that, to me, that's just, oh my God, we're seeing all these all of a sudden because somebody happened to be there with a camera to do it. What does that speak to for how often it's actually happening when we have no idea that it's happening? And I just, a friend of mine that I went to school with posted something on Facebook that had me, because I was sitting like, I don't even want to talk about this no more. I don't know, because it's a circle. I don't, and I was all up in my feelings. And this person said the following. He said, there's no question that black lives are seen as less, no question. But at what point does pleading with someone who for thousands of years has proven he doesn't think your life matters become the definition of insanity? The world hates black people. And I was like, and this is a black, young, educated, wonderful man, father, has a son, I believe, and a wife, and because it just made me think, because I don't know what to say anymore. I don't have, and I'm tired of saying it. I'm tired of saying what I do say, because it's nothing. And you look back, because sometimes you're supposed to know your history so you can know where you came from in order to get to the next step. We know enough of history to know that there has only been in this country a consistent cycle of disrespect, disregard, and essentially torture for black people. So at this point, when he said is doing the same thing and expecting at some point for it to change, the definition of insanity, is it? Like, are we just permanently in a state that we just need to learn that this is how it's going to be?
I don't accept
And
that.
it sucks. You can say you don't
can't
accept
accept
it.
that,
You
though.
cannot, but it's not stopping. It has not stopped at one point throughout the course of the history of this country. There has never been a point in the history of this country, even when we got civil rights, like we made a move, we got civil rights, 70s came along, crack epidemic came along, like there's I don't want to be that pessimistic. I don't want to think, but and I guess like we all have to live in a state of hope, perhaps. But is it empty? Because
You know, it's so funny you say that, and this is like crazy, you know, my theories. But I got to a point of saying like I love being Greek. I'm 100% Greek. Both my parents are from
Puerto Rican.
parts of Greece, and in Daryl's mom Puerto Rican. And on my stand-up shows, I do Puerto Rican too. But no, so then I started thinking, I was like, you know, I love the history of me being Greek, right? But that was more so when I was younger. The older I got, and where I wasn't fully accepted and felt belonged to that my own culture. And I start to, you know what I mean, like hang out with my friends and start building Jesse Janity, who I am. And as I move forward, and it was funny, as this happened today, I was on the treadmill and I was thinking to myself, history is a beautiful thing. But if we're in this conscious place now, if people are starting to wake up in this conscious thing and we become this mixed world, you know, is that the only, like, because here's where I'm at, is that the only way for us to eventually see ourselves? Like, everyone has to become one, where we are morphing into this mixed breed of human instead of respecting the different cultures, the different ethnicities. Like, it's just so weird to me how you could look at somebody who's living, breathing, speaking, and just based off their pigment, assume that there's so much difference in that, that you have the power over. So it's crazy to me. It blows my mind. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just
I was feeling you.
It was just a whole lot of feelings that, you know, this morning, and then you just, again, I can't even be on social media the past 3 days because I'm like, I can't look at the same posts every day. I can't look at certain people that I'm friends with. You know what I mean? Even when I posted something the other day, when I saw who liked that, it was all black people. All my black friends. I was like, not one of my white friends liked it, but a couple of them did. But I'm like, it was just interesting. You know what I mean? It's just, you just are starting to see things, and I don't want that to affect my judgment on people and things like that. But how can
because you want to believe the
You want
best.
to believe the
You wanna
best.
believe the
girl,
best.
that's like,
but
you be
the
looking at
best
people
is-
like.
But even in speaking to that, like I stayed off of social media yesterday because I was severely upset, and this morning, like, I was not going to make it here today because I started, and then I started looking at social media this morning, and like there's so many comments from other people saying, where all my white friends at? Why ain't nobody liking on this? And why? And I was so shocked still, and I'm like, why am I shocked? Because it's not a surprise, really. Like, it makes people uncomfortable. I know it's making you. That man was murdered in front of all of us.
Everybody.
He was murdered in front of all. Whatever excuse you got, and then the other video with Philando, like.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to sit here and try to pretend like I mean, and I'm a God-fearing person. I believe in God. I believe that there is something greater and all of that. But it's very difficult right now to sit here and believe that this country is capable of greater.
At this point, I mean, I feel you.
Because I feel like we thought we had elevated. We like.
Well, that's
got
what's
Obama as
disappointing because
president.
that's what we thought. We thought that this would create this profound difference of change, and it actually feels like it's going
But see,
backwards.
But see, that's what it makes me think. Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, well, maybe this idea that we thought this was this monumental change was only the proof of how uncomfortable people actually are with
And
this.
now it's really coming out.
So now it's only coming out more because up until then, they never gonna be president. They ain't really gonna do that much.
Now it's real.
But now it's real.
Yeah.
So, let's roll back. So then I'm like, am I just being stupid for not believing and accept? Like, if you see crazy on this side of the street, do you keep walking across the street? Like, the crazy is there. It's always been there. It hasn't changed. Why do we keep expecting that it will?
Right. I mean, I hear you. I mean, I can only hope that it will. But I mean, you know, right now, my faith in the belief system of that is very slim.
Because the thing is, it's just as you know, we spoke about it. Check out our portraits with Kim Whitley. conversations. It starts in your community, whether you go to church, you know what I mean? That's where she felt it, but it starts, but some people don't. Yeah. But it starts in your community. It starts with this. It starts with not with one person. They have an idea. They share it with people who belong, that understand that ideology and believe in that, and they push forward and they educate their young. And the problem is that we live in a country that tells us what to think versus teaching us how to think. Think about when you send your kids to school and what they're learning. Make sure you're sitting with your kids and showing them how to think, because it's so important. People don't think about, how do we think?
But then you take that, and then but you have a whole generation of people raising kids that weren't taught how to
those
think.
things.
So
right.
now you think they can teach their kids how to think? Like,
No, when I'm speaking to the woke people.
I'm just saying it's like a cycle, but the woke people always exist. Right. They always have existed. Like Chris Rock said, the black people always been kind and sweet. They've always existed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, whatever. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you know
I have no solutions.
We unfortunately have to go soon, but before we do that,
we'll give some good credit here.
We'll give some good credit first. And I just want to, one thing I just want to leave, this isn't positive, but what pisses me off is that when these situations arise, they always try and focus on the negative part about that person. So now the whole thing is that they're focusing in on his 2009 carrying a weapon, charge.
Wouldn't even be on a credit report.
A controlled substance. But let's talk about the fact that none of that mattered when he got shot by the police.
None of that was on.
Because none of that was on him, and that was what 7 years, 8 years ago, 6 years ago now, whatever.
Hillary ain't getting in trouble.
And I want to know, what at this stage, this needs to affect our political race. These are things that when we're defining,
which is so interesting. In no way it is. In no way is it. In no way. No way. People out here run around with a Hillary flag, and I'm like, what? Did I miss something?
Hillary, whatever.
Listen, whatever. All right, we're going to leave on something positive. We would love to hear your feedback on that, too. Please tweet us. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Leave messages on our YouTube page, because we do read them, and we want to know what you guys are saying.
I'm so negative this week, y'all.
And the last thing I'm going to leave with a positive note is that 2 Stanford swimming teammates, Leah Neal, who's 21, and Simone Manuel, are changing the stereotypes when they say black people don't swim.
Yes, they
These 2 have made the Olympic team, and it's for the 4x100 freestyle team for the upcoming Olympics. So, shout out to them. This is the first time 2 black women will compete on a U.S. swim team at the same time.
That's awesome.
Making history. Make sure you watch those Olympics.
Black Girl Magic,
Black Girls
Olympics
rock.
in Brazil.
Black Girls rock.
Oh, and Jesse, you got something for us?
Boom.
Yes, y'all. Loot Crate. So it's a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 68 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over. So make sure you guys head to lootcrate.com/GNT and enter the code GNT to save $3 on any new subscription. So you guys can join them as they celebrate the futuristic. They've packed July's crate with items from some of the pop culture's favorite science and futuristic shows. You can look towards tomorrow with items from Rick and Morty, Futurama, Star Trek, Mega Man, Valiant Comics, and the new Star Trek, including.
I was gonna say they're probably gonna really get a lot of business with that Star Trek,
including a model, a figure, and don't forget our monthly team. That's a lot of items.
That's a lot of items in one crate. Yeah,
subscription box is like the newest thing out right now, and this is a geek one where they're giving you 68 items. That's a deal.
Yeah, and that's lootcrate.com/GNT.
Oh, sorry, //
Yes. Can I get a T-shirt there, you think?
I mean,
some old school T-shirts?
Maybe.
Because, I love collecting those old school T-shirts, and they're so expensive, anywhere else. So that's a good deal.
$3 with GNT.
That's what I'm saying.
Check it out, guys.
Check it out.
GNT is the special code.
All right, guys, unfortunately, we have to go. Please check out our portraits interview as well with Kim Whitley that we just taped right before this episode this week. Very deep.
She's awesome.
And I know she's the funny lady, but she gets it. She goes real and goes in on some of these things that are affecting our community today. So check that out. And also, everybody have an upcoming great weekend.
Absolutely.
Hope they had a great 4th, and we'll see you next week. Where can fans find you, Courtney?
Find me everywhere at Stuart Starlet.
Jesse?
DJ Jesse J.
And you can find me at Daryl Kristen on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And once again, please remember to give us notes, give us feedback on YouTube, tweet us, let us know, keep the conversation going, because that's the only way change.
How do we stop the killing, guys?
As Beyonce said, stop killing our people.
I ain't got no solutions.
I don't have no solutions.
I ain't got no solutions.
That's right. All right, everybody have a great weekend.
Bye.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Daryl Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live. the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.